Carl Jung. In this video, I want to talk about the genius behind this man and what I personally learned from him. But first of all, let's give a little bit of an understanding of who Carl Jung even is. So he was a Swiss man who started this work in the beginning of the 20th century. And he is considered, along with Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, which is basically the process of you understanding, of you analyzing and studying the unconscious brain, of you studying the psyche, of you studying human behavior and why we behave in the way we behave, of you studying dreams, analyzing them and try to give them a meaning, an interpretation. And so the reason why I and a lot of people consider him a genius is because he wanted to go deeper. Everything he learned and discovered, he wanted to go deeper. He was a mystical. He wanted to know the truth. And he was willing to go in places where most people maybe are afraid to go. He went through this process called individuation process, which is basically the process of you becoming whole, of you knowing yourself, very basically. And he spent like 4 years locked in his house in the First World War. And he thought he had gone crazy. Genuinely, because every single day he was analyzing himself. He was analyzing his behavior. He was analyzing his thoughts, his visions. He started communicating with some figures in his dreams and even in his day-to-day life. So he thought he'd gone crazy, and he also had a lot of knowledge about the occult. He knew about the occult, he knew about psychology, he knew a little bit about philosophy and about Christianity. And what he did, he combined all of those into one ultimate truth. So he wrote down a lot of different books. There are the black books, there is the famous red book, which was published after 50 years after his death. And there it contains the dreams, the analysis of the dreams that Carl Jung had during those periods. And he also interacts with those figures that I previously mentioned. It's a really interesting book. I'll consider you to go and check it out for yourself. What I learned from him is that in our brain, only 5% is conscious. The rest 95% is unconscious. We don't really know about it. And in the brain, there are also some different archetypes. There are 4 main archetypes. There is the persona, which is the mask that we wear, the social mask that we wear on our day-to-day basis. There is the ego. The ego is everything we put after the word I am. Is everything we are conscious of ourselves. So I am this person, I am feeling this way, I am whatever. It's everything that we are conscious of ourselves. And then it begins the unconscious. It begins all of this part of the brain, the unconscious, that we really try to map it out and give us a clear understanding of what it could be there. But of course, we don't know 100% of it. So in the unconscious, there is the personal unconsciousness, there is the collective unconsciousness, there are the archetypes, there is the shadow, there is the animo and animus, and then at the center of everything, the mix between the conscious and the unconscious, there is the self. Who you really are, the self. And I would say that probably the only person to ever understand himself fully was Jesus Christ. He was the only one who had completed this individuation process. He never sinned. He never let impulses, the instinct, take control over. And so he was the perfect man, right? In my Patreon, in my new Patreon, I talk about those things further. So I explain better what the shadow is. I explain better what the anima or animus is and every archetype in the brain. So I go deeper into that, where if you want to join, you can join with the link in my bio. I also put the link in the description and in the comments of this video so that you can find it better. But very basically, just to give you a little bit of an understanding, the shadow is the part of ourselves that we repress the most. There are all of the repressed emotions, the repressed experiences and feelings. There are the hidden fears, the hidden pleasures, and what we hate in others. Have you ever seen probably a person and just from the first moment, you seem to not like them? There's something in them that you don't quite like. You get irritated by them. Or maybe at such small things, you really get irritated. Well, the reason why you get irritated is because there is something like that in your shadow. If you hate people who judge others, maybe there is someone who is judging you in the shadow. So it's quite difficult to understand the shadow in ourselves, and it requires some work. It requires you to crush the ego, to silence the ego, and focus mainly and completely on discovering the shadow. And we must integrate it in our life, right? Because if we don't integrate the shadow, then it will rule our life, our conscious life, and we will not be aware of that. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will dictate your life, and you would call it fate. The famous quote from C.Jung, which basically sums up everything that he tried to do in his life. Making the unconscious conscious. Because when you fully know yourself, then that is the moment where you will have more control over your instinct, over your feelings, over your thoughts, intrusive thoughts. You will know who you truly are, and you will have a different list of benefits. And then there is, of course, also the anima and the animus. The anima is for man and are all of the female aspects in our psyche. And then the animus is for women, and there are all of the male aspects in their psyche. Then, of course, there is the collective unconsciousness with the 12 archetypes that I'll talk about better and further in my Patreon, as I've told you. But very simply, this is the analysis that Jung made on the brain, on the unconsciousness. And he told us to integrate all of those parts that we have in the unconsciousness, to integrate them in our conscious life. As I told you before, to make this unconscious conscious. So this was pretty much everything that he was trying to communicate to us. Better know ourselves. Because he told us in an interview that the most dangerous creature on earth is man himself. Especially when people don't know themselves, they are able to cause harm to others. If they don't integrate their shadow in their life, that shadow will take control over. And they will do those heinous acts. Murderers, they will rape people, they will... a lot of different stuff, right? We know that. Also, another thing that he talked about to us is Jesus Christ. One of the best response to a question on God existence was Carl Jung's response. The interviewer asked him, and do you believe in God? No, did you believe in God? Because he was referring back then when he wrote down his books. And he said, oh yes, I did believe in God. And do you now believe in God? The reporter asked. He said, now? Well, it's difficult to answer. I know. I don't need to believe. I know. This was... I was astonished when I heard this. I said, that is right. You have done all of that studying, and then you say with 100% of affirmity that you know God is there, you know Christ was God, and you know that Christianity is the ultimate truth. So that response, the I know, I started also using it in my life. Whenever someone asks me if I believe in God, I maybe sometimes say, oh no, I don't believe in God. Oh, you don't believe? I say, I know God is there. I don't have to believe. And I've stolen this response from Jung. But yeah, very basically, this was Jung. And of course, if you'd like me to break down further some of the things that Jung told in his books that wanted to communicate to us, then of course in my Patreon I'll make longer videos, deeper videos, and yeah, if you like this video, then just let me know in the comments and subscribe to the channel.